Good morning. I'll just give it a little while for people to arrive this morning. But here we are, ready to do our seated yoga class this morning. Whether you're joining us live or whether you are watching this on a catch-up and doing it in your own time later today or any time, welcome to this class. It's a very gentle seated yoga class that we're going to be doing this morning. We're going to be doing a little bit of breath work and a stretch for the whole body and a bit of relaxation at the end. Good morning, Cher. Hi. So yeah, lovely to send a little message if you're joining me this morning and doing this class together. We can kind of feel connected even though we're not actually in the room together. So hope you're feeling well this morning. If anybody has any issues or any questions, then feel free to shoot a message and I'll either reply to it just at the very beginning here, or somebody who's working away hard in the office at Be Healthy Together can reply to you. So hope you're well. And the only thing really that you need for this class is a chair. Preferably a chair without any arms, but don't worry if you're seated in a chair with arms, then that's fine. Well, you'll make it work. So I just behind me, you can see I've just got a very ordinary chair here, and also something to put my feet on. So if you, like me, have slightly shorter legs, then one option is just to put a big book on the floor or something that you can just raise your feet up slightly so that you can sit comfortably with your feet flat, firmly planted on the ground. Okay, so I head to my chair and we have a few people this morning. So good morning and welcome to this gentle seated yoga class. As I'm not with you and I can't see you, then I would just say to you to be gentle with your whole body. This class is not about pushing yourself to the very limits, but hi Francis, but more about listening to your body, tuning into your individual body and its needs. And that might be different today to another day. So just have that awareness, bring that attention, that inward focus, that awareness around your own specific body's needs. And if there's anything that you feel very uncomfortable with, or your body is thinking, it's just not going to do this pose, then just ease off, or just take a rest completely and rejoin in when you feel ready. We'll start this class just by a little bit of breath work this morning and finding some stillness as we come. So I don't know what sort of a morning you've had. Maybe you've rolled out of bed to get here, or maybe you've rushed around and had a busy morning. But just when you found your chair, take a seat. Sit slightly forward if you're able to. If you're in a wheelchair or that's not possible for you, then just sit as upright as you are able. Have your feet flat on the ground, just a little apart, and your hands resting in your lap. And as you hold yourself upright here, we're going to imagine that we're creating as much space as possible between our sit bones connecting to the chair and the crown of our head, which is stretching up towards the ceiling, the sky. So beginning to imagine that space that we're creating there in the centre of our body. This is the space that our breath is going to arrive into. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes for this part of the practice, then feel free to do that. But if that's not comfortable for you, just drop your chin ever so slightly towards your chest. Look down at the ground just ahead of you. Fix one point and then allow your gaze just to really soften. And begin to notice how you're breathing this morning. So if you have rushed around to get here and grabbing a chair and all sorts of things, then your breath might be quite shallow. And often we breathe quite shallowly anyway, up in this space around our neck, our shoulders, particularly if we're feeling any tension or anxiety. Often we're breathing just up here. And what I'd like us to try to do, just for a few moments this morning at the beginning of our practice, is to really relax all these muscles around the belly. So we let that all hang out. Don't worry about holding the tummy in. This is another place we can really hold on to a lot of tension, clenching that quite tightly. So let's just let that go. And we're going to come after this breathing practice into a really familiar pattern of stretching that I do in my class. I've been doing it for a while now, through the last year. Just working from the feet up through the body. So if you normally join that class, it might be a very familiar pattern to you. And I'd love us to find some reassurance in that familiarity. And that repetition of stretching and flexing and moving is really good for our bodies and our brains, creating really good pathways in our brains. It's good for our breathing. Our breathing can relax into that space when we're a bit familiar with what we're doing. If you're new and joining us today, then it won't feel quite so familiar, obviously, but it's a very gentle practice to move through anyway. So just begin to deepen your breath slightly here. Each breath perhaps noticing that point of change between the inhale and the exhale. And then again, when you've breathed everything out, relax the tummy and notice that point where the body sits perhaps completely empty of air. You might even like to invite a little pause there just before you begin to breathe in again. And let's make that inhale as smooth as we can. Slowly and smoothly filling up with air. At this point in the practice, when we're just looking at our breathing, it may be that your breath isn't feeling very smooth. So let's let go of any worry about that or expectation about what we should be breathing like or feeling like, and just notice that if that's the case. If it's comfortable for you to breathe in and out through your nose, then do that. Just has the effect of keeping all that energy inside the body and bringing our focus slightly more inward. But if that's really not comfortable for you, a terrible case of hay fever or rhinitis, or it's just not possible for you to breathe through your nose, then just keep your lips slightly parted and breathe like that. That's fine too. Perhaps you can hear the sound of your own breath. And that's quite nice, just to listen to that internal sound of breath, that inhale, that exhale, as you sit as upright as you're able, sending that breath into this space in the middle here. You might like at this point to just bring one hand to the belly, relaxed belly. Nice, just let that belly all hang out, and the other hand just onto the chest. Making that connection with your own body, and notice if you feel any movement there. Perhaps you can feel an expansion as you breathe in, a rising of the chest and expansion of the belly. Trying to send that breath a little deeper. And perhaps a falling away or a drawing in as you exhale. Maybe at the bottom of your exhale, you can just begin to draw the belly in slightly, expelling all the air from your lungs. As your diaphragm is forced upwards, the lungs expel the air from the body. You can keep your hands connected to your body in this way, or if it's more comfortable for you, relax the hands into the lap again and continue that nice, regular, deep, steady breath. For your next few breaths, imagine that breath also filling up the sides of this part of your body as well, and maybe even into the back of your core muscles. So you may not imagine that your core muscles are in the back of your body, but they definitely are. They are going all the way around our body. And it's these back core muscles that will support our back, our spine, as we go through our stretching today as well. So maybe notice if you feel any expansion of the breath into that back part of your body. The ribs expanding forward and side and backward as well. With every exhale, invite that sense of relaxation into the body. The shoulders just softening a little, the hands relaxing in the lap now. A sense of ease coming with that exhale. Every breath inviting a softening into the body, a release of tension. You might even like to repeat to yourself a word there that is calming for you. Maybe the word calm in itself, or the word relax with every exhale. Remember that inhale, filling up the belly as you relax those muscles to breathe in. And if you've had your eyes closed here, you can begin just very gently to open them. Just gradually letting the light back in as you continue that nice, steady, smooth breath. And begin to waken up the body, so maybe rolling the shoulders a couple of times just as you sit here, continuing that breath. Maybe turning the head from side to side, release any tension in the neck. And then take a big stretch, so maybe twisting the wrists and moving them up away from you, maybe stretching the legs out. Take that big morning stretch, almost as if you're waking up for the first time today. Really big breath into that space, and then come to sitting back up straight. And we'll move through our stretches this morning, but let's try and keep that sense of steady, smooth breath going through the whole practice here. So first of all, pointing one foot out in front of you, it doesn't matter which one. I've got my right foot pointed out, but I'm going to start turning the ankle joint. So making circles with the toes and the foot here. You can involve your toes in this circling motion, but keep the breath going. I'll remind you of that lots through today's practice. We want to really connect this slow, steady breath to each movement and each hold of a pose that we do. So just noticing that ankle joint. I'll just slow it down, turn it around the other way, so reverse the direction of the circling there. Keep the toes wiggling as you do that. And notice how it feels to move your ankle like this. This is really good movement to do if you have any fluid build up in your ankles, or you spend a lot of the day sitting. You can do this at any time. Especially as we're sitting up like this and breathing deeply, we're sending the oxygen through the body and into that ankle joint there. Lovely. Release that foot to the floor. We'll do that with the other foot, so just taking big circles, slow movements with the other ankle. Notice if it feels any different on this side. It might feel quite different. That's it. And then slow that down, reverse the direction. I forgot which way I was going there for a minute. And involve the toes. Maybe you can hear some clicks in the ankle joint because you haven't moved it like this yet today. That's fine. Lovely. And then releasing that foot to the ground. And we'll stand up on tiptoes, just raising the knees, feeling into the toes and noticing which muscles really feel that stretch. Maybe down the back of your leg or the front of your shins here. And then drop the heels, walk them slightly forward and raise the toes. So flexing the toes up but pressing the heels down into the ground. And noticing that stretch perhaps at the back of your calf muscles. And maybe again in the front of your shins. We'll do that once more on each part of the foot, so up on the toes. Nice big breath in, release that, release the feet, and raise the toes, pressing the heels down into the ground. Another good breath there. Coming forward onto your chair, stretch out that first leg, the heel down to the ground and the toes raised up towards you, so you're flexing your foot. If it helps you to keep a little bend in that knee, I'm going to say right knee because I am using my right leg here, but don't worry too much if you've chosen the other leg. Keeping a bend in that right knee, but flexing the toes up towards you, or you can try and straighten through that leg, really giving your calf muscle and your hamstrings down the back of that leg a good stretch. Sitting up nice and straight here. If you're enjoying that stretch, you can begin to lean forward with a really flat back. So you're sort of hinging from your hips here. You can bring both hands to that bent leg. Just lean forward, keep looking down at your toes. Remind your shoulders to stay away from your ears here. And then breathe that steady breath. Imagine the breath travelling, the oxygen travelling into the back of that stretched out leg. On your next inhale, draw yourself back up to sitting and draw that leg in. You're going to lift that leg up now and cross it over the left. If you have any hip issues at this point, just quickly, just don't do this. Miss this one out and just take a nice few deep breaths as we open up this hip joint. So crossing that right ankle over the left thigh there. Keeping a nice flex in that right foot as we do that. And you might really notice that in that outside right hip joint. If it feels too intense, just come out of that, lift the knee up slightly and just ease that off. Maybe just moving that knee instead a little higher up, or just sitting, taking a break and taking a few deep breaths. So again here, if you're enjoying that stretch, allowing that knee to drop out to the side there, opening up that hip joint, you can begin to hinge yourself forward again. You might make that stretch even more intense, so just feel into that and back off if it feels painful at all. Take a good few breaths here. We'll begin to lightly engage the core muscles here as well, so drawing the tummy in. And then inhale yourself back up to sitting, release that foot and we'll stretch out the opposite leg. So my left leg's coming straight out from me down there. Right leg is bent, left heel is down towards the ground, actually on the ground, and the toes are flexing up towards me. Perhaps you can feel a stretch down the back of that straightened out leg, and if you enjoy that, keep a straight back and hinge yourself forward from the hips, making that a bit more intense. So sitting with this stretch and sending some nice deep breaths into those stretched out muscles down the back of that leg. Inhale yourself back up to sitting, lovely, and then bring that left ankle up and over that right thigh, allowing that left knee to drop out to the side. Just see what that's like on this side. It might feel much tighter on one side to the other here. By the way, if you have your foot on a block or a book, it'll make it slightly easier to take your foot off and connect it with the ground at this point. Keep a nice flex in that left foot, sitting up really straight here. A couple of really deep breaths. And then if you're enjoying that hip opening stretch, hinge yourself forward, drawing your core muscles in slightly. A couple of deep breaths here. When you're sitting in stillness, in a hold like this, a holding a pose, it's nice to pick a point just to gaze at. Just invite your focus inward a little. Focus on your breath. Fix your gaze on a point. And then inhale yourself back to sitting. Release that leg. Reset your book if you had your foot removed there. And then we'll take a bend forward here. So inhaling, stretch arms wide and up to the sky, looking up towards your hands. Big breath in, and then as you exhale, let's stretch all the way forward, rounding down over the legs. And then walking the hands back up the legs, uncurling the spine, coming back up to sitting up straight. Lovely. This time, still sitting slightly forward in the chair, but leaning back. Our upper back connecting with the chair this time so that we have some support. Drawing the core muscles in, so engaging the core here by drawing that tummy button in towards the centre of ourselves, imagining it almost pulling back towards the back of the spine. And then raising that first leg out, point the toes away from you. Begin to take small circles with that whole leg. You can have your hands resting in your lap, or take hold of either side of the bottom of the chair here, or the arms of your chair if you're sitting in a chair that has arms. So we're really warming up the hip joint here and engaging the core muscles. Keep breathing as you do this. Slow it down, and then we'll take 6 back in the other direction. Maybe bigger circles to really challenge your leg muscles, your hip muscles. Have I got to 4? I'm not quite sure. 5 and 6. And relax that leg. So feel that lovely sensation of relaxation after you've really stretched your leg like that, moved it like that, pushed the muscles to the edge of what they're comfortable with. Big breath in and a sigh out. And then return to your steady breathing through the nose if possible. Stretch out the other leg, point the toes away from you, and begin to take small circles, really warming up into that hip joint. It doesn't matter which direction you're circling in here. Again, hands can be in the lap or taking hold of the chair either side of you. Make these circles quite small to begin with, until you feel those muscles really firing up. And then we'll slow it down, we'll take 6 back in the other direction. And you can make them bigger if you like. 4, 5, one more, 6, and relax that leg. Big breath in and a sigh out. Feel that relief of the muscles relaxing after moving like that. Well done. Come to sitting up straight, and we'll bring our our left hand to the outside of the right leg, so just across the body here. Inhale, stretching that right arm up towards the ceiling. Invite as much length in the body as you can here, but if this feels too much for your shoulder, stretching the arm up high, just have a bent elbow, that's fine. Inhale, and then as we exhale, leaning over to the left. So keeping that right shoulder as open as possible without sort of collapsing forward, inviting that space into the side body here. Imagine your right sit bone pressing down into the chair as you stretch that right arm up and over you. And take a few steady breaths here. You can relax the head and the neck. One more breath, and then inhale slowly back up to seated. Gently release that arm and swap it over so the right arm comes down outside of the left leg. Inhale, stretching up with the left arm. As we exhale, leaning over to the right. With every exhale, relax the shoulders here. We want to hold these poses with a steady ease. So if you feel that you're beginning to shake, you can't keep that nice steady breath going, then just ease out of the hold a little. Get a slightly gentler form for your body to cope with. And then inhale yourself back back up to sitting. Let's take a twist for our spine here. Inhaling to find a real length in the spine. And as we breathe out, turn the whole upper body to the right. So we're not craning the neck round. Keep the head in line with the torso. And just turn that upper body. So the hands can relax just wherever they fall. Here, for a slightly deeper twist, you can bring that right arm around the back of the chair. Just adjust yourself slightly and use that hand to draw your upper body round into a deeper twist. But if that's way too intense, just let that right arm come back to the lap and take whichever form of this stretch feels right for your body. Draw the tummy muscles in here as you continue to breathe. With every exhale, relax the shoulders. Pick that point to gaze at. Maybe listen to your breath. And then inhaling, release that twist. Come back to center. Take a couple of shoulder shrugs in the middle there. Just easing out the neck and the shoulders. And then inhaling to find length in the spine. Sit up as nice and straight as you can. As we breathe out, we'll turn to the left this time. Just both hands coming down to wherever they rest. Again, if you want that more intense version, take hold of the back of the chair to draw yourself round. Draw your tummy in at the same time. And then find that fixed gazing point. In Sanskrit, that word is drishti. So every time that you fix your gaze on one point and breathe there, that's you finding your drishti, your fixed gazing point of focus. One more big inhale, and then as you exhale, coming back to center, a couple of shoulder shrugs. Lovely. And then we'll take some cat-cow movement here. So again, listening to your spine, just noticing this is a good movement to encourage all the vertebrae in the spine to move independently. We're going to inhale to open the chest, sit up really straight, almost invite a little back bend here as we look up. As we exhale, tucking the tailbone, draw the tummy in and round out through the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. And then continue to move with your breath. So instead of holding this pose, we're moving with our breath. Every inhale, opening up the front of our body, opening up the chest, sending our breath there. Every exhale, rounding forward, inviting that flexibility and motion into the spine. If you really love this movement and want to make it more expansive, you can involve the arms here. So as you inhale, opening the arms to really open up that chest. And as you exhale, drawing everything in, bringing the arms back to center. If this feels too much movement for your spine, and if it's painful at all, then just invite a more gentle movement. So as you breathe here, just a more gentle movement, maybe even sitting fairly straight and just inviting a tilt into the base of your spine, where your pelvis is. Your pelvis connecting to your spine there. That's your lumbar spine at the base there. If you have any issues with that, you'll know that's not a good feeling. You can have a lot of discomfort down there or at any point in your spine. Often that lower back is an area where we have issues. So just feeling into that and continuing to take the movement that feels right for your spine today. You might even like to close down your eyes as you continue this movement and flexibility in your spine. Just inviting that focus inward Lovely. On your next exhale, there's no rush to get here, but at that point, we'll clasp the hands in front of us and stretch them away from us, making that space in the back of the body as big as we can. So space between our shoulder blades, chin down towards the chest. And imagine that you're sending the next few breaths into that space. Releasing the hands, come to sitting back up straight, nice and gently, taking hold of the back of the chair maybe here. So shuffling yourself forward in the chair and then really opening up the chest, opening up that space between the collarbones. And have your gaze just slightly up ahead of you, maybe up towards the far part of the room where the wall joins the ceiling. And take a couple of breaths into the front of the body there. Lovely. Whenever we do a slight back bend like this, or opening our heart up, we want to keep our core muscles lightly engaged here, just protecting our lower back. And invite all that lovely, steady breath into the front of the body, into your chest. This is really good to do if you spend a lot of time sitting at a desk or over a keyboard. And then releasing that, sitting up straight. We'll bring the hands clasped this time behind the back of the head and just take a few moving twists from side to side. Again, you can connect this to your breath. It's not a particularly vigorous movement, so do it slowly, keeping elbows open. Breathing in as you come out to one side and out as you come back to the middle. In, out to the other side. Breathing out back to the middle. That's it. And then a slight sideways bend, just gently moving again. This time out as we go down to one side. In as we draw ourselves back up to the center. Breathing out and in as we draw ourselves back. Once more on each side there. Lovely. Release the arms and give the hands a good shake. Just the wrists, the fingers, and the whole arms. A good wobble and a shake there. Lovely. And then we're going to stretch our arms out to the side here, but palms up. So almost as if we're pushing a wall away each side of us. Stretching the arms out to the side, noticing how that feels. And then taking a few circles with the arms. So relax the shoulders. Feel quite intense for the arms and the shoulders this, so we'll just do a few circles in either direction, back the way. Lovely. And then bring hands out in front of you, take a few wrist rolls. You might hear some nice clicks and things going on in your wrists here, I can in mine. That's nothing to worry about. Little pockets of air releasing as you move these joints in a way that we don't normally move them. You can involve your fingers here. It's really good if you have any arthritis to keep doing this, perhaps a few times a day. Lovely. And then just opening and closing the fists. And come back to your breath here. So we'll just relax the hands and the arms in the lap again. Notice how that feels to just relax your arms after using them like that for a moment. Take a few nice deep breaths, breathing in. Relax the belly and then out. Relax the shoulders. And then bring fingertips to the shoulders. Raise the elbows ahead of you. You're going to begin to take some circles with the shoulders. So as we breathe in, drawing the elbows together and up. And then as we breathe out, back and down. So really feeling into the shoulders here. Connecting the breath to this movement. So if you have slid down in your chair and you're not sitting up straight anymore, just remind yourself to sit up as straight as you can here. So that's readjust your posture. Inhale into that lovely space. Exhale, shoulders draw back and down the body. One more of those and then we'll reverse the direction. So this time, inhaling, draw elbows back and together, up the body. And then as we breathe out, they can come forward and down. One more of those. Lovely. And then again, relaxing the hands here. Here we're going to breathe in and send those arms out wide and up overhead. Look up here. We'll take a couple of breaths in this high mountain pose here. Palms together, hands raised towards the ceiling, just looking up. And then as we breathe out, separate the palms and just stretch the arms out again. Bring them all the way down. Inhale, back up. Look up. Exhale, all the way down. If this feels too much for your shoulders, make this a small circle in front of you, but just still breathing in and out as your arms come down. So breathing in, look up towards your hands, out as they come down. Just a gentler version. And a relaxation in the shoulders as you breathe out. Lovely. Once more, and this time we're going to lean forward with our exhale. So stretching all the way forward, rounding down over the legs. And this time we'll stay down here for a moment. Allow the upper body to relax and the head and the neck to be heavy. Maybe turn the head from side to side. And then leaving that left hand there down at the bottom or somewhere on your legs. If you're not able to fold all the way forward, just a light rounding down. Leaving that left hand there on your lap or down on the ground. And opening up that right side. So the right arm stretches out to the side, maybe even up behind you. And you can keep your gaze connected to that hand. That can become your drishti point this time, that hand there. And then breathe into that space that you're creating in the side body. We're twisting here. One more breath in as we breathe out. Bring that arm back down to the ground or into your lap. And then inhale that left arm out to the side. Maybe working back up behind you. It might feel very different on this side. Keeping your gaze connected to that hand. A couple of breaths here and draw the tummy muscles in to give yourself space in this twist. Exhale, release that left hand down to the ground. Slowly beginning to uncurl your spine by walking your hands up your lap. Up your legs, into your lap. Come to sitting back up straight. And we'll take a few circles with the hips here, just releasing any extra tension in the spine that's built up there. A few circling movements in one direction. Connect the breath to this motion here. So you might like to breathe in as you come forward and out as the spine returns its semicircle there on the other side. Next time you're leaning forward, really open your chest and then return the other way, so reversing the direction. Well done. We'll sort of sit up straight again. We'll do one more exercise for the arms and shoulders before we move right up to the head and the neck. We're going to take a few circles with each arm here. Actually, no, do you know what? We'll move straight because we've already done the elbow circling. We'll move straight to the swapping of the arms. So it's sort of a marching circle. Begin with your arms down alongside you here. And then one arm moves forward, one arm back. As you make circles in opposite directions, they meet at the top and they continue going. The opposite arm forward, opposite arm back. It's a bit confusing this, so if you've got yourself in a fuddle over this, don't worry. Just do your best, leave the rest, and keep going. Keep your breath going here. That is the single most important thing you can do. Lovely. Well done. When your hands get to the top, we'll reverse that. So this time we just go back the other way, just on the sleeve. That's it. A few more circles, these sort of windmilling circles. It's really good for the brain as well, this. Getting all those neural pathways working. This time when the arms are up ahead, join the palms and look up once more. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, release the palms down, connected, all the way down to your heart center. Elbows out to the side. Let's remind ourselves to sit up as straight as we can here. Big breath in and a sigh out. And then release the hands to the lap. We'll begin to take some circles with the nose. So feeling into the neck joint here. Continuing to breathe. So again, you might like to connect this movement to your breath. Breathing in as your head comes up one side and out as it comes down the other. And making these circles small to begin with, and then perhaps increasing the size of them, feeling into that, all those parts of your neck. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but I'm in a conservatory and the rain is now falling. It gets a bit noisy in here, so I'm hoping I don't have to compete with it too much. But we needed the rain, didn't we? So drop your chin to your chest. The next time it gets there, just leave it there for a moment. Take a breath into the back of your neck. And then begin to circle back the other way. So just easing into this circling movement, keeping the breath going, sitting up straight. And exhaling finally to allow your chin to come to your chest. Leave it there for a moment. And then inhale, gaze comes back to center. We'll begin to drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. So allowing this stretch in the side of the neck. It doesn't matter how far down your head goes to one side, but just not lifting up the shoulder. Allow the shoulder to relax. If you enjoy this stretch, you can stretch out your opposite arm away from you, your left fingertips coming away. And if you really enjoy it, you can bring that right arm up and over the head, just to cradle that left ear. And we're not pulling on the head here, but just allow the natural weight of that right arm to draw your head down into a deeper stretch for your neck. If that feels painful in any way, your shoulder or your neck, just release that top arm into your lap. And then really use your breath here, use your exhale to relax the body. One more big breath here. And maybe if you still have that top arm over your head, you can release it and use it to just hold your head, help your head back up to center, just treating our neck super gently. Take a couple of shoulder shrugs here just to release any tension. Lovely. And then allow the left ear to drop towards the left shoulder. So again, sitting up straight, maybe those right fingertips coming down away from us. Really intensifying that stretch down the whole of that side of the neck. You might feel, again, very different one side to the other. If you enjoy that stretch, you want a deeper, more intense stretch, that left arm can come up and over. And just use the natural weight of that arm to allow the neck to stretch more deeply. But never worry about backing off out of a stretch. A pose if you feel that you've gone a bit too far. Your neck won't thank you for pushing it too far into a place of pain. And 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then releasing that top hand, support the neck back up to the center. Couple of shoulder shrugs. A really big breath in and a sigh out. And then take a big stretch through the whole body. So feet working away from hands. You can lean back in the chair here and allow your arms really to stretch up overhead. You can even look up towards them. Take a couple of wrist rolls. And then come to finding a slightly more relaxed pose in your chair. So legs, feet can stay connected to the ground here, hands just relaxing in the lap. Shoulders relaxed. And then allow your chin to drop slightly towards the chest. Relax the tummy muscles. We haven't done a big core workout today, but even if you've had your core muscles lightly engaged, it's good to remind them to relax at this point. We're going to ease off on our slow, steady breathing as well, and just allow our breath to become very gentle, just flowing in and out almost unnoticed as we take a rest here at the end of our practice. Just notice the feeling of the ground beneath your feet here. The feeling of the chair supporting you as you sit. And that feeling of connection with your hands in your lap. And I'm going to leave you with the sound of the rain. Perhaps you can hear it. Perhaps you can hear it in your own home. Just for a few moments as we enjoy a rest. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, feel free to do that. Otherwise, just look right down at the ground, softly softening your gaze and enjoying a few moments of relaxation. I'll bring us out of this time of rest, our Shavasana, at the end of our practice, in just a few moments. But give yourself permission to fully relax and let everything go here. if you're really enjoying this time of rest and peace, feel free to just switch off your device that you're watching this on and continue to enjoy this time of rest. But if you need to ease back into your day, then begin to allow your breath to deepen gradually. And begin to waken up the body just by taking a few gentle movements. Maybe wiggle the fingers, the toes, or turn the head from side to side. Taking a few deeper breaths. You can keep the eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. And then gradually awakening up the body and building yourself up to taking another of those big stretches. So stretching feet away from fingers, breathing into the whole length of the front body. And then as you breathe out, coming to sit back up straight one final time, just placing the feet in front of you, still with your eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Adjusting yourself so that you finish your practice just sitting up straight again, and you can have your hands in your lap or pressing palms just lightly together in front of you at your heart center, just allowing your chin to drop to your chest and taking a couple of those nice smooth breaths just at the end of your practice, noticing how you feel after practicing like that, how your body feels, and whether you feel perhaps a sense of stillness or calm at the end of the practice. Take a really big breath in and a sigh out. And thank you so much for practicing with me, everybody. Namaste. So thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed that yoga practice. It's been good to have some of you with me, and then if you watch this on catch up, I hope you enjoy that too. If you have any questions, feel free to send a little message. But I hope that you all stay well and enjoy your day today. And we've got somebody there. I love this bit. Is that the bit at the end? The relax. It's so important, isn't it? That relaxation at the end of a practice. It can be tempting sometimes to skip that bit and rush back into your day, but no, maybe not. Actually, I think that's the bit I look forward to as well. So, yeah, morning Pat. I hope everybody enjoyed that class. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye everybody. Take care.